Jeff, thank you for the introduction. I'm Corbett 3000 on Twitter if you want to love on me or hate on me. This is a presentation about two wonky and geeky things you should know about Washington, D.C. How many people here are from D.C.? A couple? Awesome. All right. How many people have been to D.C. before? How many people have not been to Washington, D.C.? All right, you got to come. And I'm going to give you a really good reason why to in a minute. It's actually during the presentation. So the first thing I want to talk to you about, how many people are aware of this massive open government movement that's happening in DC? There's a few of you, a handful. Okay, more than I thought actually. That's awesome. I think this idea is certainly spreading. The way that I got involved with it is something called Apps for Democracy. And a little backstory about that. Vivek Kundra, he's the first federal CIO that we've ever had in the United States. And I'm going to adjust this real quick. When he was the CTO of Washington, D.C., he said, Peter, I heard you know how to do weird new things with technology. We've got all of this public data. We've got 350 data feeds about real-time crime information in the district, school test scores, pothole locations, broken parking meters, etc. But it's not useful for anybody. If you go to data.octo.dc.gov, you'll see that. There's RSS feeds, there's KML, there's CSVs, all this stuff. He said, so what would you do? And I said, well, there's kind of a 1.0 way. You put out an RFP, it takes a couple years to build stuff, it costs a lot more money than we expected, it wastes some taxpayer dollars. What if there was this new way? What if we took open data, combined it with citizen talent and open source technology, and just added a little bit of incentive in the form of fame and fortune? What could happen? In the first year, there were 47 web, iPhone, and Facebook applications that were developed. The city spent $50,000 on this program, and they estimated the value to be in excess of $2.3 million. And I got pretty excited about the possibilities of combining citizen talent with open government data to sort of stimulate innovation. The first application that was developed was an iPhone app that, based on your geolocation, would show you the nearest metro location, and then trains coming in on both sides, right? Pretty useful for a citizen. The application also showed you nearby marinas and libraries, etc. Another interesting one, especially for all of us here, this shows a heat map of liquor licenses and correlates crime data with that information, right? And actually, development team built this application. The MPD thought this was really interesting. Now, mind you, cops know where crime happens, but to have their gut level understandings validated by a data visualization is really important and interesting. And I wish the resolution was better on here. This is a beautiful application. It was built in 3 days. It's Drupal-based. It's awesome. This one was developed by 3 independent technology developers. What it does is, based on the address you put in, it kind of centers the world around you. And this is where my office is in DuPont Circle. It's showing me the age breaks and the ethnicity, the household composition. Right? Do you want to live in a neighborhood that's a lot of single people or a lot of married people? What is the occupancy rate? Do you want to live where people own or rent, etc.? Because we know that the neighborhoods are different based on those compositions. The most important thing, though, if you were to click on this bottom right-hand pane, you can see on that map all the homicides, sexual abuses, robberies, assaults, etc. So the city gave this a gold medal, which was a $2,000 prize, because they felt it could really help citizens make better informed decisions. And that was all made possible by open government data. What's really interesting about this whole open government thing, too, is it stimulates subsequent innovation. So the team that built that last app I showed you went on to build a bunch of iPhone applications called Are You Safe? And this is the Are You Safe DC iPhone application that, based on your geolocation, shows you a threat meter. And these literally are screenshots from my iPhone when I had my car towed in a pretty bad neighborhood in DC. So I'm going from orange to more orange to holy shit, right? So you see like 4 homicides, 27 assaults, it's like, whoa, I need to put my $500 phone down and put it in my pocket and keep walking. So this movement has spread far and wide. On the federal level, when Vivek Kundra got the quote-unquote big job in the White House, he put out data.gov. So any developers in the room, you might want to check that out. These are federal data sets. Anything from like real-time flight information put out by the FAA to nutritional information that the USDA puts out, etc. This Apps for Democracy idea, that we co-created with the DC government has spread pretty far. We've done 2 of them in DC. Apps for America is done on the federal level twice by the Sunlight Foundation. There's Apps for Democracy in Finland, Australia, Belgium. New York did NYC Big Apps. San Francisco did AppSef Data Challenge. Apps for Healthy Kids launched last week, which is a Michelle Obama initiative that wants to build technology to help kids make better informed decisions about exercise and food consumption. And we launched Apps for the Army 2 weeks ago. And it's really interesting as a company of roughly 5 people, small, sort of, I guess you'd call us a startup technology and marketing firm, to work with a huge enterprise like the Army and put our weird ideas to bear for making our soldiers safer and our country safer and all the rest. So that feels kind of good to know that our halls of power are actually listening to these new things. So if you're into this open government thing, I'd encourage you, look up the hashtag OpenGov on Twitter. You'll see a lot of conversation there. Also, PoundGov20 has got a lot of great stuff as well.
And what's this Digital Capital Week?
So this is the next idea. Well, not idea, it's the next sort of reality. So I'm going to intro Digital Capital Week, and this is a really good reason why, if you haven't been to DC yet, that you should come. So over the past, I guess, 5 years I've been in DC, I've been one of the kind of core technology community organizers in the district, and for no other reason than the tech tribe is my tribe, and I really want to help them grow as professionals and people and meet one another and do great things. And so this is sort of a seminal event. It's going to be 10 days from June 11th to the 20th, and it's modeled after Social Media Week and also Internet Week NY, where the community is raising their hands to say, oh, I want to do this session or this keynote or this workshop or this project. Who's coming with me and where are we doing it? Pound DC Week is that hashtag. Well, that was a slow fade. I like that. So we're thinking about it as sort of an experiment in mass collaboration, right? It's not South by Southwest for DC. You could think of it that way, but it's not really that. Because we're going to do a ton of projects that the city think is important from like a digital divide perspective. We're going to bridge these, typically, call it elite technologists, right? These are people mashing up the real-time web and connect them with teenagers in Anacostia, which is, an underserved community in the district.
I might add that a conference is coming to DC also. I'm bringing the 140 conference to DC during that time. So if you're in the district or want to come to the district, we want to speak at it for that matter, just let me know. We want to pick the date, but it's going to be probably the 17th of June.
Yeah, and we're very much looking forward to that. So what you'll do, you go to a lot of sessions, keynotes, workshops, etc. But we're mostly looking for people to be there that actually want to do something, right? Like, we're very action-oriented in Washington, D.C., whether you know that or not. And it may be surprising. I see some people like, what the hell are you talking about? Congress hasn't done anything.
We need more people like you.
I'll tell you, Congress is the problem. Like, if there's a problem, it's Congress, and it makes me want to cry. But the people of the district themselves, those who work at think tanks and associations and technology companies or whatever, and even federal staffers, they want to do stuff. And they keep butting up against all these rules and regulations and old ways of doing things. And so it's been our mission to help bring some of those new ways about. So just some little bit of info porn here, which is my favorite kind. That's weird. Anyway, registration, the first 15 days, 1,900 people have registered. The average age of attendee, I just love data, 33 years old, 43% women. There's one stat on here that I don't have. 75% of people that registered consider themselves now, or will be in the future, entrepreneurs. And I wonder, is that indicative of the technology community in general, or is it just about Digital Capital Week?
Maybe we're all born entrepreneurs.
What's that?
Maybe we're all born entrepreneurs, we just don't know it.
Maybe. I know there's been an age-old debate about whether or not you're born an entrepreneur, or you can learn it. And I'll be honest, I don't know the answer. I've always been an entrepreneur. I mean, my first business was spray painting addresses on people's curbs. Can you imagine two cute kids in 3rd grade going, if the pizza guy wants to come or an ambulance, you want to make sure that they can see your address and give me $5 and I'll spray paint it on there.
Nice.
And then the percentage of iPhone users.
I like the fact, number of Canadians, 2.
Yeah, there are 2 Canadians. I think I have more awesome info porn here. So people are coming from all over, mostly the DC area, as you can see, and then across the country. And then some across the world, so that's cool. I see that there's someone who lives in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It's got to be an island. I don't know what that is. That's kind of good, though. And the composition is really cool, which I think probably mirrors a lot of folks in the room. Let's see, we've got 157 traditional designers, 265 web designers. We got about, 350 web developers, which is kind of cool. We got 40 augmented reality developers, a whole bunch of social media enthusiasts. That's 812 of them. So we're really interested to see. We're sort of doing a first of its kind digital community census in the district, because the city is trying to determine, where are the innovative companies and communities, and how can we support them? Do we need an incubator? There already are some. How do we strengthen them? Who's doing what? And so through the course of Digital Capital Week, we're going to strengthen that whole place. And I'm out of time. Thank you for listening, and please come to DC and say hello. We'd love to have you.
Wow, give it on that.